This video is going to be aimed at beginners of hard ups and box cutter workflows. So if you don't know all the tools and how to use them together, you're a bit shaky about all that. It's going to be a bit slower tutorial. So hopefully you're going to learn a few cool tricks. Let's go. Look, modeling is important, I know, but so is everything else in the design process. In our free Hard Surface Jumpstart course, you will not only feel more comfortable with hard surface modeling, but also confident with rendering and excited about your new game-changing portfolio. Link is in the video description. Let's get started. So let's grab a cube here and let's talk about settings, yeah? So first of all, to enter box cutter or hard ups mode, you need to press Alt W. And you can flip between them. You will see them here on the left hand side, box cutter, hard ups. To quit, you press W, right? Easy. Let's talk about settings here. For box cutter, we're gonna be using only one, and it's this right mouse button to cancel. It's really cool. Allows you to use RMB to cancel endgun. I'm gonna show you this a bit later. Now in hard ups, we're gonna go here to this star menu, and you're gonna enable this and these three, okay? So just copy my settings, right? And you're gonna be good to go. Cool. So now before we start, two things here. One of them is gonna be Alt V enable cavity. That's a hard ups menu. And do not turn on this shit. And then also Shift V with box cutter and enable align view in ortho. This will allow you to, align in ortho and cut perpendicularly to the view, which is really cool. Let's grab this cube and extend it a bit here and go to edit mode. By the way, I'm using Pi menu from Machine Tools. If you don't know how to use Machine Tools, go ahead and grab my YouTube tuts on that. I have two massive tutorials explaining all the tools, so I'm going to be doing it here. This is a Pi menu from Machine Tools that allows you to go to vert mode, face mode, etc. Let's go to edge mode, select this with Alt and Control, and let's just bevel them. All right, so Control B and maybe something like that. It's called Q, and let's sharpen. Now sharpen is gonna add a mark sharp to any edge above 30 degrees. Also gonna add other things. If you go to Control tilde menu and go to general, you can see here what it happens, right? So when you click on sharpen, you're gonna add crease, B weight, and sharp, to any edge above 30 degrees, okay? Cool. Now we're gonna enable dots here on the top, okay? This is really cool. Press D and for box cutter and change it to circle, okay? Now you need to be in perspective mode because in orthographic it doesn't really work very well. We're gonna hold Control and now we can draw a circle from the middle of this face. This dot here indicates middle of geometry, okay? So an edge or a face. And just click and drag, then release Control, release your mouse, okay? Press S if you want to scale it, click E, go deep, and then Shift T to taper it, and Bob Janko. I would just grab this dot here and bring it a little bit higher maybe, okay? Now if you click now, you will create a cut, and this cutter will disappear. If you want to keep it to manipulate with it, which is something we want to do, you press Shift to shift it to live, okay? And now what you can do is actually work with the cutter. So D and endgun. Told you to enable this option here, right mouse button to cancel endgun, right? This is really cool, watch. If I'm gonna start drawing here an endgun, right? And I wanna cancel it at some point, I just press RMB and it's gone. So here what we're gonna do, we're gonna draw a cutter like this. Hold Control to disable this angle lock. You can see there's an angle lock here. And by the way, you can change the angle increments here by pressing D. You can switch, for example, to 5 degrees. So let's draw it in here in the middle of this face and drag it in here like that, okay? And drag it out here like this. Then we're going to click, right? Press space. Now we're going to recover this cutter. So Q and F scroll, right? This will recover the cutter. So when you have a cutter selected, okay, you can recover the cutter that cut this cutter because we are cutting the cutter, right? So Q and F scroll, okay? Now you can modify this cutter, okay? So go to edit mode, select these two edges, Control B them, maybe too many segments, so, just Control B them a little bit, right? let's mirror this, okay? So Alt X to enable mirror. But what we want to do is we want to mirror this, okay, across this, right? So select the cutter, Shift, select the model, Alt X, and by default you're going to be adding mirror modifier here. You can also press D, the same menu, okay? So by default you're going to be simply clicking on the axis on which you want to mirror. So here, X axis, right? It's going to mirror across this shape. Peachy, cool. Now what we're going to do, we're going to actually array this around the cursor. Cursor's in the middle here, perfect. So select the cutter, press Q, go to Mesh Tools, and now hold Control. If you hover over any of these options and wait, you will see a tooltip menu, okay? Here we're gonna hold Control to run a radial array around cursor. Scroll down to 3 of them, and that's pretty peachy, okay? Awesome. But we're not done yet, watch. So now we're gonna recover the cutter. Then we're gonna recover the cutter's cutter. And then we're gonna cut it again. So what we're gonna do is we're going to Shift A and actually grab a cylinder, okay? Now we're going to go here and increase this number of segments to 50, scale it in and bring it up, okay? Scale it in here a little bit like that. Press sharpen, move it up a little bit, okay? Here. So now what we're gonna do, select this, Shift, select the cutter, Q, go to booleans and difference, okay? So we're gonna get this kind of a situation, which is pretty cool. Gonna drop it a little bit lower here, Shift D that, scale it in a bit, move it up here, and then Shift select this object and difference, okay? So now let's sync it in a little bit. There we go. And Shift 2, and you got something really, really cool, right? That is awesome. Cool. So now we can apply this, okay? So sharpen, Control click on sharpen. Now, there are 2 ways of applying modifiers, okay? Well, more than 2, but automatically, right, speaking. You can go to Q and go to Operations and Smart Apply, or Alt click on F scroll because it's the same thing, okay? This will apply all the modifiers except for the last bevel and weighted normals. Now, Control click on Sharpen will apply mostly booleans, okay? So you need to be careful because if you're running other modifiers on that mesh, it can actually mess up your modifier stack. There's an importance of the order of modifiers here, okay? So if I, for example, add a bevel, right, with Q and bevel, and then press Q and Alt click on Sharpen to add weighted normal, if I'm going to move this boolean, okay, this boolean, right, below let's go to Control tilde because it's easier. If I'm going to move it below the weighted normals, you see, I'm going to have a mess. So luckily for us, HardOps is sorting it for us, okay? If you go here, you can see that sort modifier option is on, and you can see here which modifiers are being sorted, okay? You can turn them on and off. So by default, boolean's gonna go in the top, bevel's gonna be under that, and weighted normal's gonna be at the bottom, okay? This is why everything looks peachy. So if I'm gonna go with Control Sharpen, I'm gonna apply both modifiers at the top. Boom, see what I mean? The both booleans. Now, if this was arrayed or solidified, it's gonna be a problem. If you have like a really complex stack of modifiers, I would recommend going for Smart Apply, okay? Cool, and this will also apply sharp edges to every single edge above 30 degrees, which is pretty bloody cool, okay? So now here, click Alt click. This is with Mesh Machine, by the way. If you don't have Mesh Machine, get it because it's very good. This is Loop Select, but you can do it manually. Now you see that if I chamfer this, you'll see this edge pull here. This happens because of the angle of this edge against this edge here of this outer edge of this circle. But what you can do, you can go to this menu here on the bottom and you can turn off loop slide. It's gonna fix the problem. However, this needs to be fixed. So let's just select this and press 1 with machine tools, this one and 1 with machine tools. This tool is called Smart VAD, so enable it on the preferences, okay? Click 1, click 1. Like I said, I have 2 massive videos on this, so don't be lazy, go and watch them, okay? If you really wanna, get fast at modeling, you need to learn your tools. Let's make this bevel smaller, I mean the chamfer smaller, right? The difference in size between bevels and chamfers is quite important. Now here on these, right, we could actually create a larger chamfer. Now, let's see if this is actually gonna work, because we have quite a lot of geo here around. So let's see that if this is gonna actually work. If this is actually gonna work for us, it's fine, except for this one here. But you know, we could GG and kind of slide it here. There's a double vert here, so let's connect this, okay, and then GG and kind of slide it in here. And it should be fine. It's a bit of a dirty fix, but you know, no one will notice, it's fine. So now here on the side, what we're gonna do, we're gonna cut this with an end gun. So gonna use a different type of cutter, okay? Let's grab an end gun, so D and end gun. And we're going to slice it here like this and go down and straight and press B for bevel. Now move your mouse to the left to reset it, and then to the right to create chamfer, left to reset it, and right to create the bevel, okay? Now you can also scroll your mouse up and down to change number of segments. This is gonna be fine. Then press X to switch to slice and space, okay? Now we're going to mirror this, so Alt X, mirror, click, Shift click on this one, Alt X, mirror, okay? Awesome. Now, before we do anything, I think what we need to do here, we need to add some loops to kind of help with the shading on this mesh here. Here the same, Control R and create a lot of loops. Just don't overlap them here with this edge, okay? It's gonna be problematic. Here we can add a bevel, so sharpen this, okay? And let's just add a bevel. And you're gonna see that we're gonna have some problems, right? So I would recommend fixing these as soon as possible. We can run an edge here like this, you know, not a problem, and dissolve this, right? And we connect these here, so connect this up and these two, okay? Peachy. And then I'm gonna Alt X to the other side with Mesh Machine, but you can also use Hard Ops, Alt X, D, and you can use Symmetry, right? And then Symmetrize to the other side. Now remember that if you use Symmetry, you need to reset the mirror next time, because it will be set to symmetry. So press X to reset the mirror next time you're gonna be using it, okay? Cool. Now I want to kind of inset these, but also we have some problem here in the bottom. So let's fix it. Let's just go to local view and let's see what's happening here. We got this problem here, so select this edge and dissolve edges, and this is gonna be problem solved, peachy. Here, what I wanna do is I wanna grab these, Shift S with machine tools, and origin point to geometry, okay? Now what we can do, we can scale this like this, okay? Which is gonna be pretty cool. And let's just move this a little bit inside. So GY and move it a little bit inside, or actually maybe outside like that. And then what we're gonna do, we're gonna grab these, right? So with control here. And then what we're gonna do is we're going to inset it, okay? A little bit like that, right? Just a little bit. And then we're going to press Q and Alt EM macro. So Alt click on EM macro, and we can outset them like this, all right? And then we're gonna have this really nice kind of inset-like connection. Now, we do have some shading problem here. This is usually caused by the fact that you have an irregular number of segments and also of a different width. So here we need to connect this one to this one, because this one is larger, right? So here, you know, click one. And then here, we're gonna connect this one to this one. And we could actually merge these two, it's not a problem. This one is fine. Actually, this one should go. So dissolve it. And then we're going to Alt X to the other side and problem solve, okay? Now, when you're experiencing major issues with shading, fix them, because it's gonna bite you in the ass. Save it because it's a good time to do it. I'm also gonna run the power save here, okay? You can copy my settings. In fact, it should be 1 minute here. You simply check this autosave and change here to autosave suffix, which will save another file with a suffix autosave. So the main file is left untouched, and every 1 minute this autosave file is gonna be overwritten, right? So I'm working pretty quickly. So I mean, not now, but when I work in general, I work quite quickly. So I prefer that. Here, we're going to create a kind of like a separation. So Control R, and then we're going to split that, actually GG a little bit higher, okay? Control B that and Q Alt M macro and insert it inside. That's pretty cool. It's going to create this nice kind of rim separation over there in the bottom. We can create something interesting too, kind of like that. So a bit of a stand. So it's going to separate it from the bottom. Really nice. Cool. Awesome. Here on the side, what we can do, we can create some notches. So, you know, we could create a notch here. Press B, okay, for bevel, and move your mouse. And then press T for solidification, okay? And then click or space, right? See here, we have a bit of a problem because this edge goes across. We don't really need this edge in here because it's a flat surface, right? So we can remove it to make our life easy. But normally what I would do, I would move this modifier a little bit up or down. Here, actually, let's apply this, so sharpen. And then because this is actually solidified, it's sort of separated from the geometry. So what you can do is select this, press L, P, selection, and now you got a separate object, right? What I want to do here, I want to cut it to get rid of this kind of a weird edge. So we're going to grab an end gun and we're going to cut it like this here and press space, okay? So you're going to get this nice notch in here inside. It's going to look pretty awesome. I like it. Now, Shift S and to geometry, and you can actually rotate it a little bit like this to create a bit of a notch here on that. So it's sort of inset a little bit inside. Looks interesting. This could be rounder. So we can apply this, so Control Sharpen, grab that. What you want to do here is you want to remove this sharp edge, because when you bevel this and scroll, you're going to have sharp edge on two sides, and it's going to create kind of like a nasty edge here. See, you can remove it by pressing Q and Shift Control click on Sharpen. What it will do, it will remove all the sharp edges and recalculate them based on the angle. So it's going to disappear too, but you can also press Q on mark it and then bevel. So it's up to you, which way you're gonna go, okay? So I'll supple this down here. It's gonna look a bit better. Also here in the bottom, we can create another notch, you know, kind of like this. And I'm gonna show you a cool trick with a wedge cut. So create that, press W. You're gonna see this line on the top, and then hold Control to create a perfect wedge and click. And you're gonna get this kind of a nice cut, okay? It's mirrored, so, you know, let's repeat it on the other side. Here on the top, you could have some tiny screws. So we could actually grab this edge here, could eyeball this in here. So draw a cut, go down, press T for solidification, and press space. And then we're gonna cover the cutters of a scroll. Shift click here. Now, since this is mirrored to the other side, because this shape is mirrored, all we need to do is mirror the cutter to the left, right? So Shift click here, Alt X, just press X to reset the mirror just in case, and boom, right? So the cutter will be mirrored to this side, but the object is also mirrored to this side. So this object carries a mirror. Now, if this mirror wasn't here, right? What you can do is add another mirror, and let me show you how to do this, okay? So if you want to add two mirrors to a cutter, there are two ways of doing it, right? You can do it with box cutter by simply pressing 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right? Or you can create a cut, hold Shift and click, and then Shift click an object, Alt X, and then what you want to do is you want to hold Shift, okay? Boom, boom, right? This is going to be dual side mirror, but you can also add a secondary mirror, okay? So watch, click, Shift click, Alt X, and mirror, right? So you have one mirror running on this object. If you want to create another mirror, what you need to do is press A. So select this object which is mirrored, Shift click here, Alt X, press A to add another mirror, and then mirror again, and you'll have two mirror modifiers running on this, okay? So there are, you know, ways of mirroring with hard-ups, pretty easy. So one more thing I want to show you here is really cool. We're gonna draw a cutter here, like a long one, okay, kind of like that. Press B, and we're going to rotate it and kind of cut it in here, and press T for solidification as well in space, right? Then we're going to apply that, okay? I'm gonna grab this face here and press L here in the middle, okay, and press P and selection, okay. Now what I want to do with this, bring it here, and I want to split it, okay. So watch, I'm gonna click that D, select the square and cut it in here, press X and slice it, and I want to add the material to the top and the bottom. So here let's go to shade editor, and if your viewport is black or like purple, you want to go here to shade editor, go to world and enable an add-on called node wrangler, okay. This one, it's a Blender native add-on, so enable save prefs, and you want to click here and press Ctrl T, right? It's going to add nodes, okay. And then you click on this one and upload HDRI. Now in my case, I'm going to be using Abandoned Slipway. You can get it for free on polyheaven.com, so go ahead and grab it, okay. So I got my lighting, it's a nice flat lighting. So here what I'm going to do with hard ups is I'm going to press Alt M and I'm going to hold Shift and click on add blank mud. This will add a glass, which is really cool, okay. Now here I'm going to go Alt M and just click, which will add this really cool black mud. They are all default. Now if you want to kind of find the mud you like, you want to go Alt M and you want to shift click on mud scroll, okay. This will allow you to scroll through different muds and you can choose, you know, the one that you actually like, okay. Let's say this one, all right. We can copy that, so shift click here and let's go to mud and copy, right. And now we need to hide that, grab this one and make it silver, okay. And then Alt H to recover, Shift 2 to hide colors. And you got something really interesting. Now this glass is going to be creating a bit of a Z fighting because this face here, let's just apply that, is sort of overlaying with the face of the object underneath. So GX and just move it a little bit forward to remove the Z fighting problem, and you got something like this, okay. One side is fine, no worries. If you want to add a mission, what you want to do, right, there's this shape at the back here, this one. If you want to add a mission, press Alt M, hold Alt, right, and click, and you're gonna add the mission. And then you can of course change the color of it and you know, strength here, okay. So you can do all kinds of funky stuff, right. This one is a little bit strong, to be honest. So we could maybe change it by grabbing this bit here, okay, and we're going to cut a kind of like a small part inside, kind of like a really thin one, somewhere in the middle here, like that. Press K for knife and then space. So now what you want to do is you want to click on this face here in the middle, Ctrl I to invert selection, Q, material, and add blank mud, okay. And this will add a blank mud to the exterior, okay. So now we're gonna have this lovely strip of blue here in the middle, okay, looking pretty cool. Now there's one more kind of cool trick I'll show you. Let's just insert it here, this face, a little bit like that, okay, just a little bit. You're gonna have a problem here, but we can fix that. And then what we're gonna do, we're gonna go Q and Shift Curve Extract. This will separate this geometry, right, to its own object and start solidifying it. Now here we have to fix this because it's a bit of a mess. So by collapsing these, I'll take to the other side and we're good to go, okay. Okay guys, well that's it. Hopefully you'll learn a few tricks with hard ups and box cutter. It's probably like 80% of the workflow of the main tools you're gonna be using. This, of course, a shit ton more, but if you want to go deeper, watch my other videos on YouTube on that, or grab our course, The Ultimate Guide to Hard Ups and Box Cutter. Link is in the video description. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.